Hi everyone, it's Andy and Fred from the Games Repainted team. Long time no see.
Hey guys, it's me, Fred. You all know me, probably. It's been like 3 years, so I hope you haven't forgotten me.
So I'm sure there's a lot of people wondering where we were and have lots of questions about what happened while we were away, and I'm sorry to say, but this is officially the end of Games Repainted as a channel, and it's very likely that we're not coming back. Games Repainted started out with a group of friends who just found a custom texture feature in Dolphin Emulator which suddenly grew and exploded in popularity. But with every long-running project, people experience burnout in one way or another, and that's exactly what happened. The Repainted team experienced burnout, and it's one thing if one person experiences burnout, but a majority of the team, over 20 friends, experienced this at the same time. Things that were possible at the time for modding influenced what we were able to do, like custom textures, custom music, and dialogue replacement. Exploring these tools is what made Repainted mods exciting and fun, and unfortunately after all the avenues of exploration were exhausted to us, it became an overtold joke, and you can only replace textures so many times before that joke gets old. Taking in community repaint projects was also not very good for us. Although we appreciate all the hard work that people put in and submitted to us, and even some submissions ended up being even more popular than our own, it made an overused bit even more overused without adding anything new to spice up the formula. So a lot of people have been asking, did Games Repainted fade away because of drama involving one of their members? And the short answer is yes, but not for the reason that a lot of you think. We've been extremely quiet about this, and I would like to share with you some of the things that the original team had to say about what happened. The entire team experiencing burnout wasn't a coincidence, a lot of it attributed to one particular event. We were given the wonderful chance to collaborate with another group, and everyone involved in the project was in high spirits and honored to work with this group. So much effort was put in just to create a memorable experience. But then one bad actor slapped their face all over the project and wrongfully took their place as the face of our group. They took full credit for the project without any mention of any of us, including our leader at the time, who put in the most effort to make custom assets and to make a custom asset injection tool work. This person did not do a single notable thing for this project other than just announce it. I wish I could show you the disappointment I heard from my friends as the stream went on. The joy and excitement was through the roof when it started. The majority of us tuned out before the first hour. We didn't bother seeing the fruits of our labor because someone else used us as a footstool to get what they wanted. And if you're not sure how much effort it is to make a repaint, it can take months, if not over a year in some cases. And it was at this point where a lot of us lost motivation to continue, and with significantly less people working on repainted projects, things came to a slow and painful crawl, and eventually the stagnation of Games Repainted.
I just want to talk a little bit about the incident Andy was referring to. We don't want to use the person's name, as we don't want to turn this to a smear campaign. A good amount of people in our community put the pieces together as to the who and the why before this video, or before we've even talked about it. And I'm sure many people will be able to figure out who we're talking about, but we're still not going to use his name. But I can tell you myself and others experienced some sense of satisfaction seeing people realize the who and the why to our inevitable disappearance from the internet. That being said, after watching this video, please don't attack the individual on whatever avenue on the internet he may still be on. Let him be. I don't want to deal with this after this. I will say my piece now and be done with it forever. I never want to talk about this individual again, or this incident again. I cannot emphasize that enough. It makes me thankful we didn't have to say anything, but it just wouldn't make sense to close Games Repainted's doors without at least acknowledging this incident. I was in denial that the whole thing was happening. I was trying to be positive the whole time the stream in question was being streamed, but everyone else was already pissed, angry, disappointed. We were all streaming in a group. It was a huge Skype call with just about everybody in Games Repainted, past and future even. We were watching our work streamed, everything that every individual in our group, none of us received credit for it. And the specific individual was being praised for everything that everyone in our group did, especially somebody who did so much work on the project. I'm not going to say who did what or anything like that, but some people did a lot of work on this project, and they were quite proud of the work. They were very proud of what they did. The person we were working with, who was a part of our group initially, specifically was able to control the narrative however he fit, and we really didn't get to say anything. Honestly, though, that doesn't really matter. I just hate how I handled the situation as a whole. I was trying to move past it with the individual while most of the group wanted nothing to do with it, nothing to do with him. My thought process was calling them out on it would just lead us to us being shut down because everyone would simply side with that individual rather than us. They had a bigger community than us objectively, and I didn't want us to lose Games Repeated because of that. So I played nice. We all played nice, and I regret that more than anything. It was very passive, and while everyone seemed to understand why I wanted to go with my route, I still don't think it was the best course of action we could have taken. But, you know, hindsight's 2020. Even after everything involving them was said and done, when asked to make a statement, myself and Andy just both agreed not to say anything. We were requested for a statement on that individual, but we never said anything up until this point. I don't regret that, but as I said before, it wouldn't make sense to close Games Repainted without acknowledging that individual. Okay, that's it. No more. We're done with that individual. Since the incident, we made a lot of efforts to try our hardest to move past it and move forward with Games Repainted as a group, but the grand majority of the group lost interest, as Andy has stated before, and the handful of us streaming repaints at the time, we all eventually experienced burnout with our repaints.
It was at this point, after a dramatic event happened, that a project was forced upon us, and we lacked the people and the tools that were needed to make the project amazing. Taking the reins of the project, which was an absolute shambles by the way, made me realize that there's really nothing here for us anymore. That project was Ocarina of Time Repainted, and without the help of an amazing community member, this project would not have been finished. So, Miko27, shout out to you, thank you, I greatly appreciate the help that you contributed.
Now, most of us who wanted to still stream on the Games Repainted channel just wanted to stream things other than repaints, and occasionally stream a repaint once in a while, and we just wanted to do that to branch out as streamers and content creators. Myself, Andy, and Mika were streaming non-repaint games for a while, but we all agreed that it was just best to separate ourselves from streaming on a single channel, which led to the Games Repainted channel essentially being abandoned for almost 2 years now, hell, almost 3 years now, actually. Now, of course, we'd like to reiterate, this isn't because of the acts of the single member who was formerly part of our group, but it was because we wanted to grow as individuals rather than have a group define us, as well as other members of the group. We also understood that most people who were subscribed to Games Repainted wanted to see repaints more than anything, which was another reason most of us wanted to stream on other channels other than the GR channel. For a while, I was considered the pseudo-leader once Andy became a little bit too busy for a few moments. This was something I was happy to take on at the time. It was 2015. I was the pseudo-leader for a while into the Ocarina of Time Repainted. I, as well, experienced burnout. I had a lot going on in my personal life at the time, and work took over my life, so I was very unfit for being leader, especially at the time. And Andy took the reins. Thankfully, under his leadership, eventually Ocarina of Time Repainted was released, and we went on to do a few more things before our long hiatus and, of course, this eventual announcement. You aren't going to pat yourself on the back, but thank you for succeeding where I failed as the brief time I was leader, Andy. I really appreciate it. I will not consider Games Repainted taboo to talk about after this point. I still have very good memories with Games Repainted. I will still hold it as a positive experience overall. And honestly, I truly hate that we have to end it, but eventually it had to end.
So recently, someone that goes by Bats Electronics released an Ocarina of Time Repainted mod on the PC port, which is something I had in mind for a long time, but I lack the time or a team to do it with. I wanted to redo the painful experience that was working on Ocarina of Time Repainted, but after seeing such a wonderful job they did, it made me realize Games Repainted has done all we can, even if our last project was a total dumpster fire. Repainted mods aren't ending. There will always be someone out there that has the tools, the time, and the effort to turn their favorite games into something wacky, fresh, and fun. My friends have made their mark on the internet and even coined a new name for this kind of mod. This kind of channel wasn't meant to last forever, but I just hope what we discovered can live on in such a way that inspires people to have fun and express their creativity in unique ways. This channel was built upon the fun we had as friends, and before I end the video, I want to give everyone on the team a chance to honor all of our friends and all the wonderful people we got to know that made this channel what it was.
Hey everyone, it's Scrunkus. My start at Games Repainted, I always note down as a big step in my life for reaching out online and actually accomplishing something pretty great. And I'm really glad that Games Repainted still somewhat plays a role in my life, though maybe not in name, but more in personality. It didn't even start with me. I wasn't originally with the first few repaints. I was not even a part of the group. I did not even know until they had finished Super Mario Sunshine. And I clearly remember hanging out with Copperbot, and he was the one who actually had shown me the Luigi's Mansion repaint. It just made me laugh so much, and I loved it. And I thought to myself, yeah, I need to do this too. That's when I gave it my all, starting my first repaint on Pikmin 2. I gotta say, I'm very happy that I did that. And I'm also super happy that I was the one who really sparked the idea to start doing your own repaints, your own fan repaints. The idea that you can just put yourself out there and succeed and get recognition for, accomplishing something like that. What I gotta say nowadays is the modding community for those repaints, or just the idea behind repaints themselves, is just astronomically mind-blowing in terms of just how creative and how silly or out there they can be, just how wonderful they all are. That step into the wider world of this internet subculture has not only cemented my love for game modding and repaints, but it had also given me lifelong friends that really deserve the best life. I'm very fortunate that I was able to meet the GR crew in person and go to different events with them on occasion. It just brought me so much happiness. And Games Repainted has given me friends in memory that I will really hold on to for the rest of my life. I just really only want to say that, thank you to the Games Repainted team, and thanks to all the fans that really have us in their minds still today.
Hello, my name is Dylan. I was a frequent stream guest for the Games Repainted channel for the first year to 2 years of the channel's life. I want to say thank you to Fred, to Akira, to Sayus to Gygus, and we've had many, many guests. We've had Scrunkus on. I met a lot of friends through Games Repainted. I would like to just say one last time thank you. I thought I would be able to make as poignant and final of a retrospective as Fred did, but I don't think I can, because it just feels better to just say I appreciate the good times we had. Thank you, and I hope that the people that were spurred on by Games Repainted way back when, there are some wonderful people out there. Thank you.
I've always been proud of the Games Repainted crew for dedicating time and hard work into something just to make us laugh, and happy that a community could find joy in Games Repainted as well. Thanks for having a good time with us. From Kimmy Spice.
Hello-wee! Hi guys, this is Kitty. I had a great time playing silly games with you guys, and I loved interacting with viewers and voicing characters. Even if y'all couldn't tell the difference between me, Kimmy, and Kale, it meant a lot to see how much you guys loved my little Gretchen prank, especially since making that model took a shitload of work. And I regret never actually getting it rigged. Sorry about that. On that note, we did see the outpour of love during the April Fool's joke, and it did weigh on our minds how we could bring GR VTuber content to you guys in a way that matched what is expected of Games Repainted from old school fans. And frankly, it just didn't make sense in the long run. It's been almost 10 years since the big Games Repainted birth, and honestly, we just want to spread our wings and show what kind of individuals we are in the now, and not be beholden to who we were. That being said, not all is lost. We still all hang out together and stream as a group pretty frequently, actually. I promise we are still just as zany. But yeah, we are so honored to have you guys grow up with us from almost 10 years ago up until now. Thank you for loving our content and loving us. And I hope to see you guys stop by on our streams. Kitty, over and out. Bye!
Games Repainted, man. Seeing this project grow was wild. Hey, it's Seth, if you remember me. being present since the beginning, from Luigi's Mansion Repainted and onward, I typically didn't really see myself as part of the Games Repainted main cast when it came to streaming. I still had a great time with a few of the repaints that I did stream, but I think I got most of my enjoyment from being the occasional guest star or co-star during streams more. Otherwise spending most of my time working in the background on editing highlights or participating in the repaints themselves. It was a ton of fun to get to collaborate in so many different projects we had and all lose our lunch together whenever it came time for the big reveal. But it was also really nice to get to meet lots of new and great people in the process. Both creators and followers alike. And that, coupled with making this big thing out of goofing around with lifelong friends, was pretty great. Games Repainted will be a chapter in my life that I'll always look back on fondly for the thrill, structure, and inspiration that it brought to me. It was and always will be a timeless collaboration just between really good friends and like-minded folks, just doing what we did best. Putting our own silly, stupid spin on things to make each other laugh. So you know what? Thank you for laughing along with us.
While I was absolutely hesitant to see my friends hit mini celebrity status with our silly little project we essentially made as a birthday gift to one of our good friends, I was thrilled to see how well you all carried yourselves afterward, and that my friends who remained on the team past Sunshine Repainted, could bring joy to people beyond our circle. My time in Games Repainted was brief since I wasn't as on board with the idea of it getting popular as everyone else was, but I was still thankful to be able to bond with the few fans I met through it that vibed with our dumb jokes. I still remember the first fanfiction we got, even if the humor was cringe and dated. Regardless, I'm happy to the people that stuck around and basically grew up with us, even if I wasn't always there to see it. I was a bit sour, a little sad, and I was always watching from afar. Without this adorably silly side project of ours, I genuinely don't think any of us would be who we are today. Thank you to the community for being there and supporting my family, my friends. Thanks to Vinesauce for giving Games Repainted the time of day. I couldn't tell you how happy I was to see the reception and acknowledgement of my buds' hard work from the big boy himself, pleading old emoji. And finally, thank you to my friends for pursuing something beyond the initial project and putting yourselves out there. You've all gained so much confidence, and I couldn't be more proud of you all. From Kale.
Hey guys, it's Prismaya Cool Streamer, also known as Mika Prismaya Cool Streamer, also known as Mika. I did want to come on here and say a couple things about Games Repainted. To kind of wrap things all up in a neat little bow, I'm going to keep it nice and brief, but as a lot of people are aware, I was strictly behind the scenes for Games Repainted for quite a while until I streamed on the channel myself. With that in mind, I have Games Repainted to thank for me coming out of my shell online and just being a person on the internet, which is doesn't sound like a lot, but it was really huge for me. So it's hard for me to even put into words exactly how important that is to me. So all I can really say is thank you to Games Repainted and to the Games Repainted community. But besides what Games Repainted means to me personally, I wanted to say something that I'm sure everyone else can agree with, and that's that we were really, really lucky to have an invested community who still follow a lot of us around to this day. And even though we've had our ups and downs, I'm really glad that Games Repainted is something we can look back on and smile and laugh about. And I just hope that's how you guys feel about it too. All right, that's really all I gotta say. Thanks.
Now, I just want to give my final thanks to everyone, even though Andy most certainly has and will in the video. I want to give specific thank you to Skrunk, who was someone who kept the channel alive when we were at our lowest when considering moving forward with Games Repainted. I appreciate everything he's done for the channel. We met him because of Games Repainted, actually, and as a goofy and as silly his stream persona is, he's a very determined and hardworking individual, and I really appreciate what he's done for the channel and our friend group. Thank you, Skrunk. Thank you to everyone who was and is in our mod team, past and present. You guys were the backbone that kept the community alive. I really wish we could have thanked you more properly, because you've done so much work for us, and I really appreciate that. Thank you, Vinny from Vinesauce, for giving Games Repainted the opportunity to work with you. Thank you, every single fan, old, present, new, for supporting us throughout the years. Thank you to every single person who was ever featured in a stream. Thank you for all my friends who had fun with the first few repaints, as well as all the friends who stuck around for our streams in the future and now as well.
As for me, Games Repainted was a huge part of my life, and I knew from the very beginning that we had something very special. I put a lot of effort into making sure that we could do this together for a long time, and although a lot of my work went unnoticed, I don't regret it at all. From reviewing up to thousands of textures a day in community repaints, hundreds of dialogue revisions, to organizing streaming schedules and making things accessible for people who wanted to play our mods, this channel was one of the most fulfilling hobbies I have ever done in my life. This whole time, up to this day, me and Fred agreed that since Games Repainted was founded upon a group of friends having fun, we wouldn't monetize Games Repainted for profit. Even the money we did make from ads on our videos was used for replacing things that wore down on Games Repainted projects or sent as donations to charities. This was extremely important to me since I consider Games Repainted to be a monument to my friends and what we accomplished together. So it really hurt me personally when I realized that someone used our concept and our brand maliciously and for personal gain. Nevertheless, I'll always consider my time with Games Repainted as something special and worth every second. Miko27, thank you for revitalizing a dying project and saving my ass. Pokemon God, How Quaint, Plastic Shark Skunk, thank you for being the best mods we could ever ask for. Super Weebros, thank you for creating the wildest repaint we've ever played. To everyone who sent their projects and to all the people chatting in the Discord who helped contribute to the projects. And of course, the friends who made this all possible from the very beginning. Many of them don't want to be named, and for good reason. So I can't say specifically, but if you're watching this, you know who you are. We're like family, and even though we all fell out of this channel one after the other, I'm happy we can still laugh and cringe about it. And to our leader, who never considered himself a leader, but we all looked up to him nonetheless. The one who came up with all these crazy ideas and implemented the wildest features out of pure curiosity. I want you to know that everyone loves you. Because without you, none of this would have ever happened. You were the glue that was holding this all together. And to all the Repainted fans out there, I'm sorry we can't promise you anything more than what we've already put out. I would love to revisit the channel, and maybe one day there will be something that brings us back together, but until then. Everyone who shared their thanks in this video is still fairly active and online, so make sure you all give them a fair thanks as well. Our Discord server will remain active until further notice, and we have no plans to archive any of the mods if the server ever closes. So, once again, thank you for supporting Games Repainted, and I hope you had a good time watching.